used to be such an angry, mean person. Like, I don't know. That's not me being mean to myself. Like, I've come such a long way. Y'all don't even know. And just thank God that you don't even know. Okay? I was not a great person to be around.
Welcome to this extra special episode of the Heavy Metal Therapist podcast, where I am going to be sitting down and talking with my fiancée, Karleigh. Enjoy. I am joined by my wonderful fiancée, Karleigh. So,
yeah. It's just weird.
It is. We are here to talk about mental health, and I thought it would be nice to have a bit of a mental health talk in a relationship and how past experiences can really have an effect on current relationships. So, if you would like to get to know our relationship, go to Karleigh's podcast. I'll put the description below. But it's the Me and Jesus podcast? Yes. Dyslexic, I get it wrong. But we talk about our full story on there.
How we met and all the cute stuff.
Yeah, so you can watch that on there. But we're going to talk about the crazy stuff in there. Not crazy stuff, that's bad.
Well, that's not, I don't know. I mean, I'm clinically, I'm not crazy. Never mind, I'm not going to do that again, never mind.
Not crazy, my doctor said, my mum had me tested.
My therapist says I'm not crazy.
So there we go.
There's some other things, but that's fine.
Okay, so let's talk about how your previous relationships have affected you up until now.
A little bit about my story is that I was in the abusive relationship cycle from the time I was 12 until I was 23. And then even before that, I was a victim of CSA, which is inappropriate things with children, in case you don't know the acronym. And so my brain's been pretty jacked up. So my relationships and past experiences with relationships weren't great. I was in physically and emotionally abusive relationships, and never really had a positive relationship to like model anything after. So if you're wanting like what's different, I mean, it sounds so cheesy, but like everything really.
Yeah.
I mean, because I haven't even we talked about that the other day. I mean, you being kind and calling me pretty, like I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, thanks, and then I walk away because I don't know what to do with it.
I'm gonna get to other things now. So that's, you've been through some stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's a way to put it.
Yeah.
Been through some stuff. Yeah, no, it's like, I don't know. It's weird to talk about simply because I don't know how to talk about it in a way that doesn't make other people uncomfortable. But I'm okay with talking about, I'll talk about just about anything. I have a lot of experience. I've shared my story in some of the most vulnerable parts of my life on the internet for like the last 15 years. Particularly the relationship stuff within the last 8 or so. But I'm so used to talking about them at this point. My thing is that if what I've gone through can help someone else who's going through the same thing, then it wasn't a waste. That's kind of how I approach it, which is why, when we talked about having this podcast, I thought it would be helpful.
Yeah.
Because something that I find interesting about us, because of my stuff, there's other things that play too, but is that some of the stereotypes have been flipped.
Yeah.
Typically, the dude doesn't have... The dude is the one who's unable to communicate. He's the one with the troublesome attachment style, and for us, it's the other way around. I'm not the romantic one. I'm not the super, cuddling one. I'm not, the stereotypes of the roles have been reversed, and I think that's interesting and something worth talking about.
Yeah. No, because it's one of those things where when we first started talking, and it was when I would say something that was just kind of quite intense emotionally for you, whereas in a normal setting, that would be quite a normal thing to say at the beginning of a relationship. he didn't quite know how to handle like compliments and things like that. And as a therapist, understanding how trauma affects the bodies, I think that helped me to navigate that, in the sense that when I realized that was, it was too much for you, we started doing a code system where so I watched Bleeding Through and their DVD, and basically their DVD, I think I'm the only one in the world that actually watched their audio commentary. And when I spoke to Brandon, there was a bit where he's talking about how Scott, the old guitarist, used to chew on his lip rings. And I went to Brandon. Some fan had brought him an old poster of Scott, and he was like, "Oh, I haven't seen that photo in years." And I said, "Oh, Scott's still chewing on his lip rings." And he went, "How did you know about that?" And I was just like, I watched the DVD commentary. And but one thing that I noticed with that commentary, it starts very interesting with the crowd kicked off, the soundboard got knocked down, and they're talking about how they had to re-record some of the audio in the studio, and then it got to a point where it was like, there's nothing else to talk about in this DVD. And so Brandon like burps and he's like, "Oh, let me tell you about this sandwich I just ate that's not agreeing with me." And I don't know why that was in my head at the time, but I just used that as like, if you don't know what to talk about and you just want a quick subject change, just tell me about the sandwich you just ate. And that turned into a sandwich emoji when, something was going to be quite intense or you couldn't handle.
Yeah, that became the thing that just was like, it was basically this thing where he would say, "Hey, by the way, there's a sandwich incoming." And I would be like, "Oh dear God, like, Lord help me." Like, I didn't know what was going to be said or how intense it was going to be or whatever. But it just became this thing where I was actually able to prepare myself for it. And then also holding space for me to not know how to talk about it. Because I didn't want to come off like I didn't care. Like, I didn't care about you or that I care about it. Because, like, I wanted to hear it. But I didn't, like, I had wanted it for so long. And it was like, I don't know what to do with it. And to be completely, like, just transparent, I had never experienced it being genuine. I had experienced it in I'm going to say this so I get that.
Yeah.
And so, which we've talked about, me, like, really learning that this isn't transactional. And, like, we're actually, like, in this together and we're a partnership, which is wild. But, like, in the sandwich aspect, I could say that was a sandwich or thanks or something like that. And it was an acknowledgement of, that was really sweet. That meant a lot to me. I physically can't handle responding to it or processing it right now. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to just brush it off like it didn't matter. I just physically didn't have the skills at the time to even... Because I've healed a lot, but you can only do so much on your own.
Right, yeah.
There comes a point when you are in that partnership, and basically everything that I was scared of happened, where I had to face these things that I couldn't do on my own, outside of like, well, if this happens, I hope I do this type of situation.
Yeah, and it didn't, the sandwich thing didn't last too long, did it? Because once you got used to being able to process what was being said, or you maybe more got used to it, and it was the holding space that really just meant a lot.
Yeah. Because my whole life, I'm known for being intense. I'm known for being I'm known for being loud. I talk a lot, and so it's always has just been, well, you're just being overdramatic. Just get over it. Just move on. Like, we don't have time for this. Like, for me to, like, feel these things. And, like, just even being willing to hold the space for me meant a lot. Because I was able to go, okay, cool. If I'm safe, like, I didn't feel forced.
Yeah.
Now. And then even now, I can say thank you. And I turn into a 12-year-old little girl, apparently. And I just get weird and I walk away. But, like, I probably wouldn't have been able to do that had we not had the sandwich system in the beginning.
Yeah.
Which is so weird to say out loud, but, like...
Yeah.
My brain.
Yeah. And here's the thing, I want to acknowledge this as well, and I know I've said this, but when you've kind of said, oh, you're so good at, like, words, you're so good at, like, showing your emotions, and you sometimes, if you say to me sometimes it doesn't feel like you're reciprocating. But to me, you show love in different ways that I know you are feeling the same. But it's something that you maybe do or show rather than voice. And I think I'm quite articulate with emotional words, and whereas I think I feel the love. Is what I'm saying. Yeah.
I think that's been a big part of it too, and something that we're still learning, especially over, this last week, is like, even over little things, like our communication is just so different, and it's learning how to communicate. It's like, oh, I didn't realize that I had to be specific in saying this one thing because I just assumed that you would get it, and that's not the case. And that's pretty much what it's been with us both. And I think one of the biggest parts of communication that we've had to work through up to this point is accepting that how we communicate is how we communicate, for one, and then learning how to adjust based on that. Like, I'm a very, very, very literal person, literally diagnosed with autism last year, so that's been fun. But like, I'm a very literal person, and so what words are said matter, and I take them very literally.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I can't think of an example right now, but that's been something that we've had to, like, not just culturally, because, we come from two different countries, but like, even just...
Yeah, and there have been times when something I've said that hasn't maybe been meant, or that's had an effect that's triggered you, and it's just, and I think that's something that I feel we're still going to have those times where we have to work on it, but I think we're in a kind of like alignment now where it's like, I understand better how to communicate to you, and I think, and likewise, I think you've kind of learnt how I need to hear things for it to make sense. And I think even in this trip, we've had some kind of like, wait, do you mean this? And I'm like, no, I mean this. And it's like, oh. Yeah.
There's quite a few of those things. The other thing that has been really, really, really hard for me to... Let me back up for a minute. So for clarification, half the alphabet's attached to my brain. I'm ADHD, autistic, OCD, and CPTSD. And I also have generalized anxiety with the OCD. It's fun out here. So my brain has, there's a lot going on in it, and I really struggle to like keep everything straight. So just for like clarification, if anybody can relate to any of those things, that's why we're sharing this. Because more people need to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Because homie's got ADHD, and I've got ADHD, but our ADHD presents very differently. And then I've also got a lot of other stuff piled on. My brain's very special. She's very special. But the thing that I had to learn coming back to the conversation is that you are not out, and I think recently you've learned why I'm like this.
Yeah.
You're not out to hurt me. It's whatever was said or whatever, that was not the goal. The goal was not to manipulate. The goal was not to outdo me. It's like, it was an honest mistake. And even when there has been other issues, I have to take a step back and just remember, like, it sounds so cheesy, but like, it's not you against each other, it's you against the problem. Yeah. But it's so true.
It is.
That's been a big thing for me to like remember and remind myself of.
Yeah. It has been a bit of a journey in times, but I always have called them like growth conversations where we've kind of learned something, and then it's not only taking what we've learned, but actually putting that into practice rather than being like, oh, okay, I did that, I'll just maybe not do that again, but actually how can I make this situation better? And what's been the biggest adaptation for you?
I don't know, this sounds like such a dumb answer, but it's just kind of been everything that involves a relationship. Like my thing, I was single for 9, 10 years, 8, 9 years. I don't even know. I don't remember. For a long time. And I'm a single mom. And so I'm just so used to doing things by myself.
Yeah.
And it reached a point where it was so much easier to do things by myself because then I was a decision maker. And I only have to worry about my kid and me, and that's it. And frankly, I only worry about my kid. Myself comes second. That's how parenting is supposed to go. That's how parenting is supposed to go. I don't know who needs to hear that. That's how it's supposed to go. I gotta throw it in when I can.
Yeah, please do, yeah.
But it was just like...
I was telling her to listen.
Oh. But even just having another person just around and in like a part of our lives. So we've been long distance for a long time, and here pretty soon, you know, hopefully we're not going to be, not hopefully, we're not going to be. I just don't know the timeline as far as pretty soon goes. Yeah. But like even, just having you as like a presence, as someone to consider. And even now as we're like we're about to be married and we're looking at finances and things, and it's just like it's hard to think of it as an us versus me and you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that has really been it. Just like learning to consider another person's feelings, which this sounds bad, but it can be annoying. Like, not because you're bad or I don't want you around. It's just like, oh shoot, I can't just make this decision anymore.
Yeah.
I have to consult the other person. I've got to consult this other person that's a part of my life, that's a part of my child's life, because this person's going to impact my child now, and it's just all of these things are all together, and it's just having that other person to just consider and accepting that you're a good person, like through all of it, that you're not an inconvenience. And that's something that I have to remind my brain of all the time. Because whenever things get hard, my brain's just like, let's cut and run.
Yeah.
Like, let's just cut and run. This isn't even worth it anymore. Because up to this point, I haven't been in situations where it's been worth it. So, yeah, just learning that you're here and then making the very active decision to not give up every time things get hard. Because that's my automatic go-to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's interesting as well because it's a two-way street. I'm learning to go from being like a single guy for like 10 years, and you know, I've lived alone for like 7 of those. I've had housemates previously. I've not lived with my parents for decades now, but it's like today when we were shopping, and it's just like our finances are about to be, you know, combined, and I'm out here like, oh, let's just buy that, and it's just like, what was it you said the other day? It's not the large purchases that are going to take us out.
So we did premarital counseling. We passed with an A+.
We did good.
Praise the Lord. But one of the things that they asked was like, okay, what is the dollar amount that you want to set, that you talk about before making a big purchase? $50, $100, $200. And I was like, honestly, I genuinely think we're just going to need to have a daily conversation about finances. And I hate that. The idea of a man checking in on me and my money makes me irate. But it's not my money. It's our money. And you're not just any man. You're my fiancé. But I'm just being like fully transparent. Yeah. That's really, really hard for me. But anyway, I told him, I was like, it's not going to be the big purchases that take us out. It's a nickel and diming. It's $5 here. It's 50 cents there. And we're going to go pick up my son tomorrow morning. And we were getting together because we got a road trip back home. And we were getting together this cute little just thing for him. So that way he would have activities and not just play the Switch the whole time. And all of that. And it was like, oh, it's only 50 cents. Oh, this is only $2. Oh, it's only $5. And next thing you know, we spent, I'm pretty sure, like 3 times what we were planning on spending. Yeah. That went up so fast. And it's like, I love it. Because I'm just like, I love the way that you love my son. Like, that's just like seeing you like want to spoil him makes me so happy. And it's also like, that was just such a wake-up call. I mean, I'm like watching this and I'm like, we didn't stick to our plans. Because neither of us are the type of people to just go and drop $100.
Right.
We're the type of people to make things work. And I think I remember one of the things that I struggled with when we first started talking was you talked about how you didn't have any money and yet you were going out to dinner all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't say both of those things. Because, and I'm over here thinking, like, I'm a single mom and I've got to be, like, so tight on the budget. I'm like, you have no, like, I was being all judgment central, okay? Because also, you're a man and it took me a long time to accept that you're not a bad one. It's just, you know.
It's fair. We're getting
God's
there.
working on me.
Yeah.
But, like, even now, like, I'm seeing I have the same behaviors, they're just presenting differently. I'm not going to go and spend $30 on dinner. But I'll go spend $5 here and $10 there, and the next thing you know, you know,
it builds up, and I think that's one thing that when you get into a new relationship, it's a whole different like field. It's a whole different like. I'm not like you were saying before. You're not just thinking about it's not you. It's not just you and Axel. It's me as well, and it's like that. Everything that you're used to in your life, me being a single guy. You know, going out, spending £30-40 on a meal in London, because London, it's just normal. And then it's like, oh wait, this is not normal now, because I need to start budgeting and start preparing for us to get married, and I won't be able to just go out and blow £30 on.
And I think too, on the mental health side of that, like the brain side of that, is that I used to be such an angry, mean person. Like, I don't, that's not me being mean to myself. Like, I've come such a long way. Y'all don't even know. And just thank God that you don't even know. Okay? I was not a great person to be around. But I was so naggy and I was so mean and I was very often right. But I like just assumed I was always right and no one, I could never do wrong. And so now I'm so scared of coming off that way that I don't say anything.
Yeah.
That I'm just like, well, he wants to get this for Axel, so if I say no, then I'm being mean. Or if I call him out and I'm just like, well, is it really my right to say anything? And I'm like, wait, well, I mean, we're talking about, like, I get so scared of coming off bad and causing conflict. I have no problem with conflict in general, but, like, if it's because I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing, like, that it's difficult. And so it's like, and I think too, you struggle with something similar of like the conversations around that. What does that look like? And you know, and I'm sure as you stepping into basically just this like family out of the box.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, trying to navigate the authority piece and the child piece and like, you know, me moving out of the way and you stepping in, but still like what does that all even look like? Like all that stuff.
Yeah. And it's a big learning curve as well, and I think one thing I learned was that we are both going to bring in like things from the past, like like how your family have brought you up, or you know, because you know there was that time that like we were in Florida and Axel is grabbing a tin of pineapple, and I'm like, oh, you're going to eat that whole thing, and I just had my mum at the back of my head like, you know, you're going to eat that whole thing. And it's just like there's a distinct separation from, you know, my parents are an amazing people. It's just that we're going to have a different style, and it's just working out what that looks like outside of, you know.
I don't know finish the thought about the pineapple a bit as to why that mattered. Other than hearing about your mom.
Oh, just because in my home, like it would have been like the whole tin of pineapple would have had to have gone for the whole family, and it was just a surprise to, you know, grabbed it. It makes sense. Grabbed a fork and went and sat down with a tin pineapple, and he's not eating, you know, crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100% pineapple juice. It's fine. He's not eating junk. But yeah, it's just like those moments of like you say things and it's like, wait, why does that matter?
Yeah.
Like, why does it matter that a 10-year-old kid is eating pineapple out of a jar?
Yeah.
When it's fruit. Like, of all the things, right? So it's also just like learning. Yeah, I mean, we both, obviously, everyone who's watching can see it. We both have issues with food. So, I mean, like, that's not news. I'm not going to tiptoe around that. but like we both bring our food stuff, and we both have had body image stuff. We both have had disordered eating stuff. Like we've both dealt with these things, and it's like bringing those in, and how can we not pass these on to Axel and our future kids? How can we like do this better?
Yeah.
And I think that is also one of the biggest reasons why I was so hesitant to really let myself count on you and really trust you, is because I'm like, okay, what is this going to do to my kid? Because, you know, I've already, without going into detail, like my son's dad and I are not together. So obviously that's not a great situation. I don't want to do that to him again. I don't want to do that to another child again. It's like, I was so scared of getting it wrong, but I was so scared of repeating certain patterns that I ended up creating some of those same things that I was avoiding, or that I was trying to avoid.
Yeah.
And so in bringing that stuff, it all comes down to the communication. And I really, really think that we would not be getting married had it not been for the fact that we're long distance.
Quick break here. If you ever feel your therapy deserves a little more volume, this is exactly why we created Therapy But Louder. Our clothing line is where mental health meets metal. Bold designs, unapologetic attitude, and real conversations stitched into every piece. It's not just fashion, it's a statement where you can be open about what you're going through and look amazing while doing it. So if you want to wear clothing that's as loud as your playlist, check out Therapy But Louder. Hit the link in the show notes or go to theheavymetaltherapist.com. Grab something that speaks louder than words. Now back to the podcast.
I think God had that planned out from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't have communicated nearly as much as we have.
Oh yeah.
That's all we could do is talk.
Yeah. And I remember the days when we were like 6-7 hours on Zoom every day, and it was like, okay, this is an issue because I'm not going to bed at like 8 in the morning. And
he's 6 hours in the future, and he's also a nut job who just doesn't go to bed till later anyway.
Yeah.
That'll change though. In the near future.
I mean, even being here, it's changed. We're going to bed at a reasonable hour, getting up at a reasonable hour, and yeah. Might do that. Might be time difference, but you know.
What has that part been like for you? Like in the sense of like having Axel and I around, and then having me around for this last week. Like aside from the it's been great, Karleigh's awesome, like all this stuff, but like
it's been wonderful. I've like really enjoyed it, and I think it's kind of felt like a holiday. But I've really enjoyed just because at home I don't have time to go out. I don't really hang out with anyone. And when I do, it's very rare. And so it's been nice actually being constantly around you and Axel. And it's been nice to actually, I feel like we've kind of experienced what married life is going to be like. And I've really, really enjoyed it. I'm here for it.
So on that note, which this was something really wild for me to wrap my head around, to let myself just have those moments. You've witnessed a lot of stuff this last week regarding my brain stuff and how I've responded to certain things, how I've handled certain things. You've witnessed the very high highs, the very low lows. Like, what has that been like for you from your perspective?
I think it's been interesting because I think it's a guy thing. I think it's also a therapist thing. I just want to fix everything, and actually knowing that it's like we had that conversation. It's not my job to fix you.
It's the Lord's job, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, but
but actually taking a step back and just allowing you to have that space to process what you've been going through. It's definitely a learning curve. And I think I've got some ways to go to learn how to deal with that. But it's also like things like the other day when Axel flipped out and he was angry. And instead of allowing him to have his space to be angry, I jumped into the fixing mode and I tried to change the subject, and immediately regretted it, because it was just like he just kind of like shut off the question and was just like, no, I'm not. Yeah. So and then when you spoke later on, it was just like allowing him to have that space to process his anger and be allowed to be angry in that situation. Yeah. So I think it's definitely a learning curve. So on the flip side, what was it like for you having me here while you've been experiencing those emotions?
It's been weird because I forget that like I'm allowed to experience those things in front of you. It's annoying because now it's harder for me to put the mask on when you're around.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so comfortable at this point, and I really think talking so much and basically living in the audio notes on WhatsApp has really gotten us to that point. And I really think too, allowing myself to, in moments, just be mad at you, like through the audio notes, was really helpful. And because now it's like, okay, I know that if he can handle my emotions that are directed directly at him, and he listens and he applies, then he can handle the stuff that's going to happen around him.
Yeah.
By default. And it's like, and I know that it's not easy to deal with some of this stuff. I know that my very high highs can be really difficult. I know that my lows can be difficult. I know when I go from 0 to 100 and then I'm just pissed in a matter of seconds is really difficult. And like the me coming down from it stuff is hard. And so it's been nice it's been helpful because this has been a really hard season, and having you here with me during it for the first time, and normally I have to experience it by myself, has been incredible. But it's just been hard to like let myself feel those things around you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be pissed. It's okay to say choice words. The Lord is still working on me. It's okay to be myself in whatever shade that is in the moment, and that you can handle it and you can hold it. And now granted, it's not your job to fix me. That's the Lord's job. He's the only one who can do it at this point.
Yeah.
Like, that is not your job to carry. But knowing that you are strong enough to hold space for those things. It's such a freaking buzzword now. It makes me so mad.
Yeah.
Like, people have just taken it to be such a friggin' nothing. But it's so true. That's what it is. It's knowing that you can just sit there and let me feel those things. And yes, it's annoying when you try to fix it. But you're trying to fix it. You're not trying to gloss over it.
Yeah.
And so it just, it's been hard, but a good hard. It's been one of the hardest things I think I've done, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I can feel the positive as we're going through it.
So in closing, so let's say someone's been through some stuff, like really, not been in a good place. What advice would you give that person?
Well, I guess it depends on what they are. It really depends on where they are. So what I used to do is I used to work with DV survivors, and I had a podcast, and I was a coach, and there are so many people that are just not ready to heal yet, and that's okay. That's not judgment. That's okay. It's acknowledging that that's where you're at. A lot of people stay stuck in that because they don't want to acknowledge that that's where they're at. They don't want to acknowledge that they're not ready to change, which is fine. That's a part of it. Like, that's a transition to even say, look, what happened to me was not my fault, but healing is my responsibility, and healing is stupid, and I don't want it, and it's not fair. Get yourself to that place first. If you're someone who's wanting to... The biggest advice overall that I could possibly share with anyone, and I just wish more people actually did this, is to go and do some research on your flipping brain.
Yeah.
Just go and learn the things. You don't have to obsess over it. You don't have to become psychotic about it. You don't have to and I say that word because it genuinely applies to me. It clinically applies to me. Don't get offended that I use the word. Okay? Okay. You don't got to be crazy about it. Is that better? Is crazy okay? I don't know anymore. Everything pisses somebody off. But like, you don't have to like go insane about it. But like, even taking the time, like for me, learning why my brain was the way it was in regards to PTSD after being in physically abusive relationships versus what it was like after emotionally abusive relationships. Which anyway, that's like I could talk about that forever. Like. And then learning about, okay, I've got ADHD. What does that actually mean? As an adult woman, what does that mean? Oh, I learned I'm autistic. What does that mean? What does that look like in my day-to-day life? What can I go and like research on this? Because in that, I am able to take that self-awareness and then share it. And if your partner is someone who is struggling, who has some mental health stuff going on, who has a lot of trauma, who has PTSD, CPTSD, and yes, they're two different things. Google it. It's free. It's wonderful. Go and do the research on that.
Yeah.
Like, it is insane to me the amount of parents with children with autism, with disabilities, and they don't even research it. It's the same thing with partners. If you're, and I was so careful. I mean, I probably went a little bit heavy on it because I'm really negative, but like, I wanted you to understand where I was at mentally. Yeah. I wanted you to understand where I was at financially. I wanted to be completely honest with like, I really don't like men and I'm probably not going to like you and it's going to take me a long time to get over it. Like, I've got issues. I was so upfront with that because I wanted you to go in with eyes wide open and not be surprised. I think that we, as people with stuff, have to learn how to communicate without trauma dumping. And I think that's really important too. And that's all with communication. It's all communication and it's all learning how to communicate. So that would just really be it. I know I went on a little soapbox.
No, I like it.
But like researching how your own brain works, even the most basic psychology without even trauma psychology is so interesting and it'll change your whole life. Let alone looking into what you've gone through. If you're like able to, do that.
Yeah.
And if you're able to watch this podcast or listen to it, you're able to do that.
It's been a fascinating journey as well, learning everything there is to learn. Because, you know, I'm normally a kinesthetic learner, but with doing my counselling degree, it's like I've learned other approaches to learning.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, it's been fascinating when it's like you've gone, okay, this is something, and I've gone, right, okay, I'll go and listen to an audiobook on it, and I've got so many unfinished audiobooks, it's wild, but we're getting there.
I just keep sending them to you.
Yeah, but I do
I collect knowledge like people collect postage stamps, and so I just send him 100,000 things every day.
Do people still collect postage stamps?
Some people do. Some people collect them, or Hot Wheels cards. That's how I am with knowledge. I like collecting nuggets.
Yeah. And
then the nuggets turn into I don't eat chicken. Why did I go with that? Little piece of the pie. But you don't build a pie that... Anyway, I'm done. Never mind. I failed at the metaphor. I'm too
Building
tired.
Legos?
I lost the metaphor at this point. I don't even know what I was saying.
Well, as I said, do you have anywhere that you would like people to go and look at your stuff?
If you like this style of... My stuff is very faith focused, so if you are a Jesus freak and you're wanting to learn more about the Bible, or if you have gone through a lot of church hurt and you are amazed to see someone who looks like me talking about the Bible, then you should come hang out. You can go to meandjesus.life, and there's a post going up, I'm pretty sure daily right now, just sharing about all sorts of stuff, and then you can follow me on Instagram and check out the podcast. Karleigh Walks with Jesus is the Instagram. And I'll make sure that he puts it in the description because my name's a pain to spell.
Yes. Well, I know how to spell it now, but it was definitely an interesting...
It was a pain to spell. Yeah. My mom's obnoxious.
Thanks, Robin.
She's going to watch this too.
Yeah.
And it has to stay in. Thanks, Mom! Anyway, okay.
Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Make sure you follow Karleigh. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And let's start a discussion. But yeah. Thanks, babe.
Thanks, babe.